Stop points.
Alright, I'm going to pull on some stuff today. I am pretty well into the off season at this point. I say pretty well into it, that's really just based on the calendar. I spent most of October just kind of chilling out after Worlds, lifting kind of when I felt like it, playing sports with my kids, just being active in general. Honestly, a lot more rest time. But November, I've kind of been rolling into doing a little more high volume. You know, that entails the same thing it does for most other people when they hit a high volume block in an off season. Just trying to get more reps, more overall volume, moderate weight. I'm working mostly in the 50 to 75% range. Once in a while I hit a couple of singles heavy. That's just kind of how I like to train. I don't like to lose the feel of heavy weight. I feel like, and when I've done volume blocks in the past and I come back having not touched anything over like 65, 70%, I feel like I've kind of lost the feel, and I'd like to minimize the time getting my legs back, so to speak. So I'm gonna hit some sumo deadlifts today, and probably just do some other stuff that works the old hammies, maybe the glutes. Let's get after it.
This broken wheel is coming undone, and the road's exploding, but you're keeping me strong, moving along with you. Yeah. Love is a tower, and you're the key.
So obvious question, sumo deadlifts. I'm primarily a throwing athlete, so why do sumo deadlifts? In my case, it's something that I'm doing in the off season. I don't deadlift sumo in the preseason or the season when I'm throwing. Not that it wouldn't have some benefit, it's just there's a risk reward thing going on there. It's not my primary technique, and I believe, especially as you go further into a season, deadlifting for speed has a lot more carryover than a big, heavy conventional deadlift or sumo deadlifting. But in the off season, it's nice to change things up. There's a psychological component to that for sure. Just trying new things, messing around, playing in the gym, which I talk about a lot. Just find time to play, do the things that you see people doing on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But there's also a real tangible benefit for me too. There's the fact that as a thrower, there really aren't a lot of times where my hips are aligned out wide, where I've got a lot of external rotation in my hips like this. There's just no event you can really think of where, as a thrower, I'm like this. If you're doing that in a throw, you're doing it wrong. So a lot of times as throwers, our hips, while we are firing them for throws and we are utilizing them for blocks and pushes, they're often in line. So you start to run into some of the same issues that distance runners run into, where everything is this way. There's not a lot of lateral. We have a little bit in our sport, but you can run the risk of developing hip problems, developing more downstream problems, knees, ankles, stuff like that from bad hip alignment. So I feel like using the Sumo Deadlift in the off season gives me the ability to work those muscle groups that don't get a lot of love in pulling usually for me. Especially the glutes, get a lot of glute activation in the Sumo Deadlift, which is great. Takes some of the strain off my back. I'm 37, I don't have the greatest back in the world anymore, so it takes some of the strain off of that. It also, really important for me, works the hip flexors and the groin. I get to, especially in a volume phase where I'm not trying to hit anything crazy heavy, I get to fire those muscles. I get to develop those. I get a little bit of the hypertrophy in those muscles. Because anybody that's thrown for any reasonable amount of time, especially rotational throwing, you're going to find that you're going to have hip pain. You're going to have hip flexor pain. You're going to have groin pain. How many throwers do you know that have had pulled groins? It just happens. So the more you can spend time getting your hips and your groin into that position, rotating your hips into that position, working in that position, I think it's going to be better for you in the long run if you can kind of get a good volume of reps and a good amount of tonnage in on those muscles before you start getting back to your wheelhouse, conventional deadlifting, whatever it may be. I think that's going to pay huge benefits for you. So that's some of the reason that I do that. All right, so I hit everything I need to. I've been trying to promise myself to do at least two accessory movements every time I get in the gym, and I accomplished that today with some kettlebell swings, really high rep kettlebell swings, and some banded hamstring curls. Again, just taking some of the strain off the lower back to work my hamstrings. It's a really nice thing. I'm gonna go and get some dinner now. We got more stuff that just hit at thehate.com right now. We are just dumping tons of stuff onto that site constantly right now. We have so many ideas that we've actually made into reality that we're trying to get out for fall, and we're trying to do something really big for Black Friday. We're trying to have a lot of stuff available for Black Friday, so keep looking out for that. There's gonna be discount codes all over the place. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, hit buttons. I don't know where they are. You know.